LeBron James. LeBron scored 51 points, his first ever 50-point playoff game. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr knows how good this Cavs team could be.
We're playing a great team. It's the finals. It's not going to be easy. I know everybody has been saying and writing that it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. We're playing a great team. They've been to the finals 4 years in a row, just like we have, for a reason. They have a guy who's playing basketball at a level that I'm not sure anybody's ever seen before when you consider everything he's doing. And he's got a really good group of teammates around him, and they put a lot of pressure on you. They're really hard to guard. So it's going to be a tough series.
I said yesterday on the show, would it be that far-fetched to think the Cavs could at least be in this in some capacity, keep it close, have someone else step up? This was, I think, a lot closer than anyone thought it would be. What you saw last night, did that make you think, CC, that perhaps this series is not as blown open by the Warriors as it could possibly be, that maybe the Cavs could play him competitively?
There's two things that would have to happen. You'd have to get news from the NBA and the Warriors that Klay Thompson has a significant injury to that leg that he injured earlier in the game. You could see him limping. He left late in the game to go back to the locker room. And number two, the result of this game would have had to have been different. The Cavs would have had to have won because it's still on the board. They can still get swept. The Cavs have been totally inconsistent. I believe that Golden State, they realized they got away. They stole a game. They will be more focused in game number 2 on Sunday night. So, yeah, you can look at certain sets and be like, man, we defended them well. They didn't turn the ball over well. They shot the ball a lot better than we did. If Golden State shoots 51% and you can make them go to overtime, that's a significant win. But the talent disparity between the two, Andre Iguodala, when is he going to come back? Or is he going to be out the rest of the series? Because if Iggy is out and Klay misses a game or two, it's a totally different series because the talent level starts to become a little more equal, even though Golden State still has far more talent with those two players, even if they were out.
Yeah, you could look at this and say, man, the Cavs took them to overtime. Cavs should have won the game if not for some gaffes by the refs and by JR late. That's a hell of a reason to feel great. You could also look at it and say LeBron James scored 51 points and they lost.
Yeah, you did something no one else in the NBA. All the other NBA teams that got that type of support, they won.
It's the 6th ever finals game with 50 points. Those players are now 5-1. It's the highest shooting percentage ever in a 50-point finals game, and he lost. It's the first 58-8 in a finals game, and he lost. LeBron is going to be great. He ain't averaging 50 points. If LeBron last night had 48-8, they lose by double digits. I mean, they did lose by double digits in overtime, but they lose by double digits in regulation.
Right.
So that's my level. That's my concern. And my other concern is if you were trying to squint hard enough to find a way for the Cavs to win this series or to take this series 6 or 7 games, one thing that had to happen. Any coin flip game, they got to take.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can't lose because what the Cavs don't have the ability to do is blow Golden State out. Golden State definitely has the ability to blow Cleveland out. So if the blowout games are going to go Golden State's favor, the close ones have to go Cleveland's favor. And it's just such a stomach punch of a result when they had a lead with less than a minute remaining.
And I would feel better if you had certain players. If George Hill had played a better game. If JR had followed up that first quarter with 7 points, if he had followed that with anything else, I might feel better about it. But no, LeBron gets you 51. The other starters get you 40
Wait, you
points.
said JR scored 7 in the first quarter?
Yeah. Yeah,
right,
one other 3.
And that was in overtime when the game was decided. So JR didn't score a point in the second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, I didn't want Dusty working hard to do the time gap. Yeah, it was a long, long time. He was working for you, all the research and everything. I couldn't get him for that. But
so JR had 0 points in the second, third, and fourth quarters. I didn't realize that until you just said it.
That's why LeBron James had to score 51 points last night.
Yeah, I just don't know that JR is going to be much better. I don't know that JR is going to recover well, and I know we're going to talk about JR in the next segment. But LeBron is on this run that we've never seen, right? LeBron now has 8 40-point playoff games this postseason. That ties Jerry West's all-time record for most 40-point playoff games in a single postseason. LeBron now has more 40-point finals games since he came back to Cleveland than Jordan had in his entire career. So
in 4 years.
In the last 4 years, and these finals aren't over, obviously. In the last 3 finals and 1 game, LeBron's got more 40-point finals games than Jordan had in his career. LeBron is playing the highest level of offensive basketball that I've ever seen anyone play for an extended period of time. We're now into the 19th game of the postseason, and they lost. And if you make me bet an amount of money that matters to me, will LeBron have a game in these finals better than game 1? The answer is no. You're going to do better than 59% shooting, 51 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists? And then you can also ask, here's another question. Is Kevin Durant going to have a worse game than he had in game 1? Durant's shooting 37%. Terrible defense when LeBron's on him. LeBron scored 30 points on 45 possessions, shoots 67%.
It's all going to go back to the exact same narrative we had for 82 regular season games and for this entire postseason. Someone else on that Cavaliers team, we don't know who it is because it's never the same person, is going to have to do something. Last night it was Kevin Love, but someone is going to have to give you more than 14 points.
Yeah, it's more than one player. They need at least 4 players to be in double digits. If they get 4 players, it's not impossible.
It hasn't happened.
It's not impossible, but that's what they're going to have to do to win. Now, if you tell me none of them are going to score in double figures, then it's impossible for the Cavs to win. Last night, there's certain things they can take from it. How they defended the Warriors. How they kept the Warriors to 107 points in regulation. Those are certain things that Ty Lue and the staff, they had them ready. They were not overwhelmed by Golden State and their passing and their motion offense.
And here's the other reason why last night's such a missed opportunity. Because if they win last night, if the Cavs are up 1-0, Ty Lue can go to them and say, guys, they're not beating us in a Game 7. Period, point blank. We have the best player in the world. He hasn't lost a Game 7 in a decade. We've won 2 Game 7s these playoffs already. We won a Game 7 in this building 2 years ago. They're not beating us in Game 7. So we just got to make sure they don't beat us 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
If they had won last night, they'd just say, we just got to make sure they don't beat us 4 of the next 5. And we got them.
If they win last night, all they got to do is split at home.
Exactly.
If you're the Cavs this morning, do you feel encouraged at the fact that you kept it real close and you could have won this game, or are you discouraged by the way you lost the game?
I've always been taught from the coaches, you get 24 hours to recover. So about midnight tonight, they can have to do whatever they want to do to be able to put the game behind them. Now, we're on the stretch. We're not playing for not every other day, but we're playing every 3 days. So I think it gives them a couple of days to practice. They're very familiar with this situation. They played a lot better in game number 1 than we expected. If they're able to get past, if JR is able to look his teammates and say, you know something, I know I said after the game to the media that I knew that the game was tied up. I mean, I knew what the score was. No, let's get full disclosure. Man, I didn't know. I messed that up. All right? From me to you, I messed that up. And I believe that's the only way in pro sports, the accountability that you can continue on and not have a backlash of a game that they should have won.
All right, take a break. Coming up, did the refs cost the Cavs game 1? Or maybe was it J.R. Smith? We'll talk about that next.